Greetings, everyone. I hope you are all doing well at this day and hour. Uh, this time, I wanted to bring forth something new and talk to you a little bit about my personal experience with the spirits of the lower current and mostly Papa Legba. Now, the way I came across this particular spirit is that he came to me about 3 years ago, and he appeared to me himself without me summoning him and without me having really not much or any interest in that particular current to begin with. I was approached by him randomly one night, and he came with Hecate together, which wasn't much of a surprise to me since they both delve in the same current. At that time, of course, I was also working very, very closely with Hecate, and I had just performed my merge, and it was at the time where I had also performed my very first necromantic empowerment, where I was guided by Hecate to a specific area where there was a burial ground next to a church, and I was instructed to give offerings of liquor to the spirits of the dead that were buried there. And what happened is I went back to my place, and these spirits visited me. They were just very kind, very typical, everyday old people, men and women as well, who had passed away through old age. Nothing crazy or specific there. I mean, they were very pleasant. Had a nice conversation with all of them, and I enjoyed their company. So when Legba appeared to me, it was random. He told me to change my channel on the TV to turn it on, which I was a little bit surprised by, and he guided me to a specific movie. And we had a little chat about what was going on. That movie was related to a African American individual who was trying to get into the U.S. Marine Corps and was just being obstructed, basically, in everything that he did. Although he always passed with flying colors, they kept bringing him down, and we had a little chat about that. He also educated me a little bit upon him and his current, and I did not work with him after this, to be honest. It is only about 2 3 years now that he came back, um, and now I'm actively working with him. So when he appears, to me at least, he appeared as a shadowy figure when he appears in the physical form. A shadow figure with white shining eyes, which when he approaches you, he takes shape and form. And you can see more into the shadow, and you will see the man himself. It is an African individual of about 50 years of age, but very vivid and alive, with an athletic form and a nice ripped physique, with abs and veins going around his hands. He has dreadlocks and a beard which is not too long. It's more of a very big fat stubble, mostly. Um, and he holds a staff on his right hand with a skull on it. And the staff also has Indian-like feathers on it, hanging down from it. Um, his day is Monday. His number is 3, and he adores whiskey, rum, and other spirits, cigars. It is a great thing to offer him 3 pennies at a crossroads. Um, and he adores honey as well, as far as I know, and chocolates. I'm sure he likes other candy too, but these are the things that I have been told to offer him first. When you start working with Papa Legba, of course, he shall come forth. I have seen two forms as well. I've also seen the older form of him. It's still the same man, but he has a much longer beard and it is white. And he is kind of hunchback and has a stick where he walks with. A stick which looks like it had been made, it is like a straight, sharp at the end stick with a kind of like a round head on it. And it looks like it's been made in a tribalic, primitive way out of a tree branch. Okay? It is not something that looks like it's been crafted in the modern world with machines, basically. It looks very handmade. And he half limps when he walks with it. So when you, the limp is also an indication of him being present. When you walk, you're gonna start kind of having slight irritations to your right leg, and you will have limp as well when he's with you. Things that he will initiate and give in when you start working with him. One of the very first thing is that he will educate upon who he is. Basically, he is a gatekeeper of the worlds. First of all, he opens gates to the worlds, and one of the very first transformations that he will do is he will give you the Gungun staff, as he calls it, which is the staff that he holds. And this staff will allow your double to open gateways to the crossroads, which means the realms between the living and the dead. So with him, you are able to travel to different worlds much, much easier. And mostly worlds where the parts of the underworld that reside in the underworld, which the lower spirits are assigned to, and no other spirit is allowed to enter. Now, when it comes to the lower spirits, they are not demonic, which is it is a false belief to think that they are demon. These spirits have and still walk the earth. They are very easy to interact with, very easy to communicate with. They are extremely human in their interactions. They don't speak in riddles. They're very straightforward. And people have spoken about trickery and chaos when it comes to Papa Legba. So far, that has not been my experience at all. He's been very, very kind, very, very straightforward with me. I have not been hurt or tricked in any way. And he is big on the promise. So once you give him a promise, you must maintain it and never break it in any way, shape, or form. It may come as a surprise, but the lower spirits, mostly to my experience, are attributed to the right hand side, to the right hand path. They will, even if they're dark, by the way, even if they're necromantic, with my experience from what I have seen is they are heavily attributed to the right hand path and the light. They speak of the light and preach of it a lot. They can open gateways to the Sephirothic realms very easily, even if they are dark and necromantic. Believe it or not, it is a strange current with a lot of education. To my experience, Papa Legba does not want blood. I have asked to offer it. He does not wish it. He does not require it. He is not vampiric, and he is not a demon. He is dark, and he is light as well, and he can be heavily earthly and lunar. Rules upon the lunar white shining light energy, green earth energy, and brown necromantic energy. And one of the biggest offerings you can give him, which was also requested by me personally, would be to devote yourself to learn the 256 currents of the lower spirits and go through them one by one. It is an extremely lengthy process, as these systems are complicated and there is way too many spirits to learn from. But it is not impossible, and if you really, really, really want to delve deep into the mysteries of this spirit and the law, you would have to make it a life commitment. And there is nothing really he won't help you with or do for you, to be honest. Everything that he has promised shall be done. He is very big on the promise. Once you give him a promise and you keep it, he will never ever abandon you, and he won't lie. At least that's my experience so far. Um, a great way to connect and summon him. As we know, spirits have sigils. All spirits have sigils. It is a signature and a piece of energetic code which unlocks the door to the specific spirit. In this current, it is called the Veve. So, you would be required, first of all, to give him a devotional altar to begin with. With his Veve. You can put it on the wall, you can put it on the altar, you can design it in any way you wish, but it would be a good practice to have his Veve around. Start with giving some offerings. Start by offering some chocolate, honey. If you offer chocolate, make a circle around the chocolate with honey. And then when you summon him, throw some more honey on top of that chocolate. And try and have some whiskey or rum around. Drink it and spit it upon the chocolate offerings 3 times. If you are working indoors, that is, with his devotional altar, it is good to have a cigar laying around, and as an offering, would be good to smoke the cigar and blow that smoke into his Veve when you summon him as well. It's a great offering, which he likes. Try to go for expensive, good quality cigars. Don't buy him the small, tiny ones. Get like a nice, big, thick one. If it can be handmade and expensive, that would be good. But they tend to be pricey. Handmade ones, especially if they're imported from the local countries where these spirits would be from or resonate with. We're talking about anything between 40 to 120 or 50 euro for a good cigar that he would like. He'll let you know, of course, which one. It's up to you to know if you can make that kind of a commitment or not. Of course, that doesn't mean you won't be happy with something of a lesser quality if you are unable financially to provide it. It is the effort which makes the difference with the spirit in question. So do not worry that much when it comes to these details. The important thing is that you provide something which relates to that spirit as much as you can to begin connecting with them. Chances are, to my experience at least, you have been contacted first by this spirit. So it tends to be a spirit that reaches out first somehow. At least this is what I have seen so far from the majority of people who I've spoken with, and their testimonials as well in regards to these spirits and how they were approached. A much heavier way to connect, a better way, would be to grab all these offerings, which I mentioned, and find a 4-way crossroad, not a 2-way that splits into 2 paths, and not one that splits in the shape of a T, okay? Find a cross-shaped crossroad that has 4 ways. Forward, backwards, left, and right. And place an offering of chocolate in the middle. Make a circle with honey. Throw some more honey on top of the chocolate. And then summon him. And then drink the liquid which you have with you, rum or whiskey of good quality, and spit it upon the offerings 3 times. In my case, I have been given a channel incantation to summon him personally by him. Spirits generally speak every language, as we all know, because it is nothing but energy communication in the end of the day. And energy can translate into anything that we perceive as a language. So there is no language barrier in the world beyond, to be honest. There is no such thing as a language, it's just energy communication. So, in my particular case, they speak to me in African dialects, which are forgotten or not existent anymore, or maybe I just don't really know if they exist anymore or if they are used. But it is an African dialect in a language which I do not speak. I just speak it out as it is given to me. Now, people say that these spirits will approach them and speak French to them. As far as I've been told, this means that you're dealing with the Haitian spirits of the Haitian current. All my indications point towards the African powers, the 7 African powers. That is why I am given African dialects to channel for them. So that particular crossroad can be used as it will build an astral temple upon that crossroad, and you can astrally travel there to perform various rituals. You will be able to be given a palace space astrally, energetically, upon that crossroad that you perform it. It is best to perform it in nature, somewhere where there is trees or woods around, in a place that is rich in grass, trees, river, water, even better. If these elements are combined in that space, this will build a very, very powerful astral temple upon that crossroad, which you can visit, and you can then perform various rituals or learn from him. In my experience, according to your attributes, if you are warlike, what he shall do is he will not keep you in his own palace or realm. He will send you forth into different currents to go one after the other and learn from different spirits which he deems fit. After you are given the staff, your double shall be transformed according to your soul attributes. What happened to mine is I was given a transformation of a dark shadow figure with no face, and I ended up wearing something that looked like a black, ripped, kind of torn, nomadic, kind of a desert-looking outfit that hangs. Kind of like Assassin's Creed-like, but kind of like hangs down and looks torn at the edges, and is black, and it goes around the body, and it covers it all the way down to the knees. And you can use it to throw it around your shoulder as well, if you know anything about nomadic wear. And you can also cover your face with it as well, and your head. And the eyes will be shining green due to the transformation of the earthly energy. So there will be nothing but green light to be shown. And that is the first transformation that I received from him. Then the second part will be, the third part, because first comes the staff and then comes the transformation of the soul. The third part will be to enable you through an astral ritual, which will take part in his temple that he owns. He will put you in the middle of a ceremonial space, and you shall be given the ability to shift into a black lion, which shines of dark light, and seems to be made of solid material, kind of like black obsidian. This is an extremely powerful shape-shifting blessing. Some of the most powerful spirits are able to shift into lions. The first time I saw something like this was with the angel Ariel, the lioness of God, as the name means in Hebrew. she shapes into a golden light lion, and can help one cross through the first stages or the first worlds or the border of the Sephirothic realm, while taking the person's double on her back, and you ride with her into a golden gate behind clouds. At least that's what happened to me between the middle pillar, which is between the worlds of light and dark, and ours, of course, and then you can go into the Sephiroth with her once you initiate this way. But that is a completely different current and story for another day. Then the final stage of transformation from Legba will be to have a gateway open to a specific current where he wants you to go in and learn. What happened in my case is he took me through dark canyons that looked like very similar to, if you know the movie Lord of the Rings, where the heroes of the story enter into the minds of the dwarves, the gnomes, and there is all kinds of rocky canyons around and many doors and stairways. That is literally a representation. It's like the corridor to the underworld, basically. This is where all these passages can lead you to many different necromantic realms and worlds. It is an extremely complex place. You must never enter it alone without a guide that resides there, a necromantic guide, a spirit. Souls that enter there alone will be lost. You may never be able to return. And you should never spend too much time roaming into these passages looking for a way in or out anywhere alone, because you will be stuck there, and the more time you spend there, the more you get lost. It is a place of extreme confusion, and it changes all the time. Actually, you can like take one step into a dark passageway and you'll be like, oh well, this will probably, it seems that this stair connects to that place and it will take me up there. But then when you come out, you see that this stairway took you to a completely different place, and then from where you were down here below, this stairway took you to a completely different complex, and you are looking at the place that you were from above, and that place that you're looking at was down to the right, for example, and then you're like, okay, we gotta go back, and then you end up to a totally different space somewhere. It's like a big maze in there. Always enter it with a necromantic spirit. Let it be Papa Legba, let it be Hecate, let it be anyone else from the system which resides in the necromantic worlds, okay? Don't self-initiate silly inny-winny just like this into things that you don't know, because your soul can be stuck there, and I mean, you're not coming back out. And this manifests into real life as well. And it manifests in bad ways. It manifests in psychological ways, which will be anxiety, confusion, fatigue, all kinds of things. It manifests into being unable to make choices and many, many other things that we've spoken before in previous podcasts as to how these energies can and do manifest into the physical world of the person. Then he will open, as I said, the gateway. He took me through this world, and there was a portal which opened, a green portal in one of them worlds. There was like a dark gate kind of thing, and when I went there with him, he had this staff that we spoke of, and he would bang it 3 times on the ground. And then this green whirlpool of energies starts to spin clockwise. Sometimes clockwise, sometimes anti-clockwise. It really depends on the world where you're going. And he brought me into this world, and this is where my basically next level of initiation started. And that is how he brought me into contact with the next spirit, which I am currently heavily involved into the lower system. And he brought me in this way in contact to Baron Samedi, Samedi, which is a French word for Saturday. Um, I do believe that it is an aspect of him. Legba is the gateway, and the other aspects of the Loa are basically his aspects. So he is like a black hole which you enter as an entrance, and there are cords of green light or tunnels. They are tunnels when you enter them, which connect to different currents. So basically, if you can imagine him as energy, as an energy body of a black hole spinning, and behind that black hole there will be webs of green connecting to these different worlds, which are the different currents of the lower spirits, which he will allow you to connect, basically. And that's what energy-wise Papa Legba is. He is the door to all of these. At least as I see it right now, as we speak, I am shown the visions of what he is, to explain to him energy-wise for those who know and understand a little bit of these astral placements and what the spirits are. Because, of course, as we've said, just because a spirit appears human with a body doesn't mean that's all you see. The spirit is an energy force which has a different form, okay? And this is the energy form of Legba. Black hole, gate entrance, webs, which are tunnels that connect to the different worlds, systems, spirits of the lower. And my particular connection, which was given to me and I was told to go forth, is Baron Samedi. And I believe I covered pretty much everything that has been learned so far. There will be a second part coming up with the experience with Baron Samedi and what he has given to me so far. Of course, this will be a series of the spirits, and more knowledge will be shared according to the knowledge which I acquire as I go. So hopefully this will help you connect to Papa Legba. He's an incredible spirit to my experience. Very, very honest, very, very kind. Can be very funny as well at times if you resonate with him. And if he agrees with your soul attributes and your character in general. Extremely protective, and these spirits can teach tremendous knowledge. I'm talking about they have castings which breaks through all kinds of stuff. I'm talking about they can teach severe banful works that break through even the demonic currents and wardings and what have you. They can teach severe castings of the light. They can teach severe workings of the crossroads, which are in between the worlds, elemental and earthly alchemy. Really, the knowledge is tremendous, and they work extremely quick. When I say they don't waste time at all, like when Papa Legba came to me, he spoke to me about dogs and how they resonate as guardians in the underworld, which I already knew. So immediately the next day, I started seeing dogs, and I saw 3 of them 3 times. Like 3 dogs 3 times in that particular day. And I could feel him speak to me and telling me to pay attention. And he would appear and come through after I would receive, for example, his channel incantation extremely quickly with many other spirits. And I've known other tribalic spirits that appeared like African warriors dressed in animal kind of like disguises and clothing and skins and all sorts of stuff. Heavily initiates to the spirits of the dead warriors that are attributed into lion tribes. Not sure exactly what they are, but they are all wearing the lion skins and colors and can shift into these lions astrally. They can be given as familiars, and you can be assigned to them as part of their tribe too. When it comes to another thing that I wanted to bring forth, last part, when it comes to the belief that people may have that only certain races will be approached and favored by these spirits to my particular experience and what he has told me, that is false. Okay? Because that creates nothing but a limited belief. And when we are trying to limit others, we are not acting in the ways of the spirit. We are not representing the opinion and the ways that the spirit thinks and operates. We are only representing our own as people, okay? And when we try to limit others from knowledge that is there to be given by the spirit, if the spirit chooses to give it to you, then we are no better than those who mistreated these particular spirits or the tribes that relate to them before. Okay, so I don't think that this is of good practice to try and limit people from that knowledge, because if a particular spirit resonates with you, if it favors you, and if it chooses you, okay, it will come forth and it will offer its hand out for you to take. And then, of course, it's up to you to take it or not. But when it comes to Legba and the Loa, I would say it is a huge blessing. Take their hand if they offer it, okay? And as always, don't try not to offend, even if you deny it. You may kindly deny, of course. But I would suggest that you take up on this offer, because the knowledge is tremendous. The empowerments are tremendous. And the manifestations, they come extremely quick, okay? They may even offer you to test drive, as I say it. They'll say, well, make a request, ask something, see how I can give it to you and how fast I will give it to you, at least in my experience. And boom, within 3 days max, it's going to happen. And it's going to happen in a booming way. So that would be all in regards to Papa Legba so far. Like, share, and subscribe, of course, and bring your own experiences forth if you have some. I'd be very happy to see how some of you have managed to connect with this current and what your thoughts and experiences are. Stay blessed, stay safe, and have a great day. Rise and conquer.